This episode, in my opinion, the Hasbro writing staff sat down for a very long time. I don't know how long these things usually last, maybe a few days.
Mm.
I feel like they took a few weeks or even a few months to really flesh this one out because it's something that the fans have been asking for. And the voice acting was great.
As always.
Oh yeah, of course, but we got some
Celebrities.
celebrities. Mr. Shatner,
And Felicia Days.
yes, good, and of course the usual crew. Michelle Creeber, always good. Everyone loves Apple Bloom. Apple Bloom is so cute. I want to hug her. I need an Apple Bloom plush to add to my collection. I really do. And a Sweetie Belle, and then I'll have all three: Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo.
Okay, so getting to the episode.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Episode.
Okay. It starts off with Apple Bloom in the market, and she suddenly sees a bunch of ponies rushing to a stand, and when you see it, you see it's a pear stand, and as she approaches, she sees an old pony by the name of Grandpear.
And his body design is kind of like Granny Smith's. They were very I like how they drew him like he might have been muscular or at least bulky at one point, and then as time has went on, he's kind of withered away, and it really made me think of a male Granny Smith, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which on its own is like a sign like, oh, this is going to be an Apple related episode.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone is like, oh yeah, pears, and then
so if you didn't know anything, like you read the synopsis, don't you? Right? You
no,
still do?
Never do.
Never do. Okay, yeah, neither did I. So I wouldn't have known what was going to happen. Just going in blind. And joke, pun intended.
Edwin is blind.
Some may think, oh, is this going to be like another competition between the Apple family and now a pear family?
Yeah, I kind of had that thought myself.
I saw the pears and I was like, oh, is this going to happen?
Yeah, is this going to be like a Super Speedy Squeezy Cider 6000?
And then
bam, no.
He Apple Bloom goes up, finds out that he actually lived in Ponyville before, Grandpear.
Yeah, and he moved to Vancouver, Canada. Excuse me. And now he's back, and apparently his pear stuff, his pear wares,
have been severely missed in Ponyville
and severely loved everywhere else.
Yep.
So he's back, and so Apple Bloom buys some of his, I think it was pear jam, wasn't it?
Yeah, pear jam.
Yeah, and she takes it home.
And
it's like, you guys got to try this stuff. And as soon as she says pears, the reaction from Big Mac and Applejack was great.
Did she say pears? I think they just saw it, and they saw the jar and it had the pear label.
She said
it. Regardless, they find out it's pear,
and they freak out.
Yeah, and going so far as to break their own floor, dig a hole, and bury the jar of pear jam into a.
They buried this thing like I bury a body. I mean, like the mob buries a body.
Because
apparently Granny Smith has a long-standing family feud with the Pears.
But anytime the siblings try to ask her about it, she gets upset. So that's why it never comes up.
So they're like, there's something going on here. Road trip.
Who in the Apple family knows pretty much all the history of all the apples?
That's easy. Babseed.
Correct.
Exactly.
But she's all the way in Manhattan.
So they go to see Goldie Delicious, and that pony's got a problem.
Is it a cat problem?
Well, I was gonna say a hoarding problem, but yeah, that too. I mean, I don't think you should kind of. I work for a company that takes donations, and I've seen hoarders donate. This isn't a problem you should really make fun of, but they pull it off, and it's cute and endearing. But somehow in that organized chaos, Goldie finds the right book when they want to know more about this pear-apple rivalry, or feud, I should say. It's more like a feud. Yeah, definitely a feud, a family feud.
It should be more of actually just a rivalry, because what they want to find out is how it started, and
it started when Will Shatner told Granny Smith that she can't sell squat because apples suck.
And she responded,
with he's a prickly pear.
a prickly pear.
And apparently, all those years ago, their stands next to each other with them dishing out food and burns became an epic family rivalry.
Yes. So pretty much those two are the whole reason why.
Yeah, it started with them, but pretty much then both families start hating each other. All except for two.
Two little
Two little foals.
Two little
They were
foals.
so cute. I mean, even as they got older, they were still cute.
I was kind of weirded out with Bright Mac's voice being he sounded like way older than what he looked as a young one.
Yeah, that was my only real major complaint. Excuse me. Excuse me. Been a long day.
You know what I loved
But
when they met, like when he says the whole buttercup thing,
yeah,
and like she does it and like it actually makes her chin glow.
yeah, that was cute.
Like the heartbeat racing.
Yes.
That was such a good emphasis on like that. Yeah. He's in love.
A lot of thought went into this episode. I mean, not to say that a lot of thought doesn't go into every MLP episode, because 99% of the time it does, and the other 1% is Spike at your service. Sorry, Spike. I like Spike a lot. He is definitely one of my favorite characters. They're all my favorite characters, but I got a soft spot for Spike, but that episode was just terrible. But anyway, so Goldie is running him through this family history, and how far did it go with him?
I think for Goldie that's as far as it goes.
Oh yeah, she couldn't get to the other book. There's a friggin' mountain lion on the other one or something.
I think it's a leopard.
Oh, like
I'm not sure.
It's a big cat. It tends to eat ponies, and I don't know why she has one, but she does. But she says for them to go meet an old friend of their father's.
I guess crazy cat lady outranks food chain.
Pretty much, yeah, I agree. But
yeah, she tells the siblings that she's gonna have to wrangle the book, but if they want to know more right away, to go ask Burnt Oak, an old friend of their father's, for more information.
Speaking of which, burnt oak is kind of a really hard thing to do. Hardwoods don't burn well. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a strong name.
Oh, and another thing I found funny about him, his stand is pretty much right across the street from Grand Pear's. So I found the next scene kind of weird, where they're right across the street talking about their parents.
And Grandpa Grandpa never goes over and talks to them or anything.
Yeah.
Was he in the background at all or anything?
I don't remember. You don't really see.
It kind of focuses on him
on that side of the street.
Rightfully so, because we don't really care that he's over there selling pears. We know he's doing it, so it's not really all that important.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been nice if they showed him just turning and looking over, hearing the conversation, but maybe not going over or saying anything or whatever. But just a valid point there, Werner. But Burnt Oak tells about how he and Bright Mac were best friends growing up, and how they would have all these kinds of challenges and stuff, and how one of their challenges gets out of hand, and he wrecks a water silo on the pear side of the land
because he was too busy
gawking at
Buttercup.
Pear blossom, buttercup blossom pear. Excuse me.
And this is where they start showing
actual
where the apple siblings get all some of their traits from their parents.
Big Mac has strength from Bright Mac.
Let's keep it in order. Like how right now, like we were just talking, where how he breaks the silo, and Burnt Oak manages to sneak him out, get in and sneak him out before Grand Pear sees him, and he immediately blames peach pear butter.
Pear butter.
Pear butter.
Yeah, pear butter. But Bright Mac says something, goes, "No, it was me. I did it." Real honesty. I mean, I don't know. Are there any other apples that have that kind of honest trait?
I don't know.
I know there's a background pony that does. Oh, I said we weren't gonna do it, but we did. So it's we can't help it.
But
So and he uses this time to
he uses the time that he after he's done when he's on break from harvesting apples, he would go to the silo and fix it, and during that time he would get to know pear blossom
buttercup. I can do this all day. So yeah,
pear
so
butter.
that kind of that kind of builds their relationship right there. But for Burnt Oak's part, that's kind of the end of his tales. So they thank him and they go to leave, but as they leave, Big Mac comes back and he says, hey, can we hear more stories sometime? He's like, yeah, sure.
No, it's not just hey, yeah, sure. It's yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, I'd like that. And
Like I'm not doing this just for you. I'm doing it for me to remember the good times that I had with my now probably dead friend.
I was just about to say that, yeah. And then as they run away, Twilight Sparkle shows up.
For just a split
Moving
second.
on.
Well, he sends them to Mrs. Cake, who apparently was childhood friends with pear
Blossom Buttercup.
Pear Blossom Buttercup.
But
Bubbles Blossom
Buttercup. But apparently her name wasn't always Mrs. Cake. I'm fucking shocked. It was Chiffon Swear.
I'm glad you remembered the first part because I could not remember it. It was I knew it was somewhere along that kind of.
Okay. Look, the only reason I can remember chiffon is because I've been to a lot of corporate luncheons and corporate dinner-ins, and
you know someone there by that name?
Yes.
Okay.
That is exactly the.
I kind of figured because like that name like
No.
it sounds awesome, but
Chiffon's a food.
Oh, it's a food?
Yeah, but I just want to see how long you were paying attention.
That makes so much sense.
It's a kind of dessert or something. I just remember there was some kind of chiffon thing on one of the buffets I was at. I think it was in Washington D.C. But anyway.
So her name technically is Miss Chiffon Cakes.
Or yeah, probably Chiffon Cakes. Now that she's married to.
Well, the names don't seem to follow the human rules.
They don't, but
So-
and they're or maybe they do. It's kind of inconsistent. That's something that was never really nailed down.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Her name is Granny Smith. Imagine that from a young age.
But wait.
Like call a little girl Granny.
But also, here's the not to get too sidetracked from this episode because I really like it, but in the Family Appreciation Day, Granny Smith says she's part of the Smith family.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So there's some inconsistency there, but we'll deal with that another time. Or maybe Dr. Wolf or Silva Cuero or someone else will or already has. Who knows? But so they go to Chiffon Swirl Mrs. Cake, and they want to hear her stories. And it turns out that she was best friends with Pear Blossom Buttercup. And keeping in line with family traits, Pear Blossom inspired Chiffon to become a baker and helped motivate her to find her calling, kind of like how Apple Bloom does as a crusader.
Yeah, she helped her. She actually is the one who helped her get her cutie mark,
Which is really cool. And so, Pear Blossom was with her every step of the way as Chiffon, or Mrs. Cake, I should say, made better and better desserts. Until one day.
Oh, I would like to say something before we continue. This episode gave me the feels 3 times when watching it. And by that, I mean liquid pride nearly leaked from my eye sockets. And I shall reveal these 3 moments.
Okay.
When we get to them,
Alright.
one is quickly approaching.
All right, cool. Well, the first one this whole episode gave me the feels, man. I gotta say, it really did. Like, normally it takes.
But did you nearly leak
Yes,
pride?
I did. But we'll get to that one later for me as well. But like she helps her make all these different confections and cakes and candies and all this good stuff, and eventually she goes like Mrs. Cake.
I
goes,
should thank her somehow.
Yeah, I should thank her somehow. And so she makes her a nice snack or whatever.
A pear cake.
Yeah, a pear cake. pear upside down pound cake. But she goes to find her friend, and she finds Pear Blossom with Bright Mac having a secret picnic.
Right where their family's land meets.
Yeah.
The no man's land of their properties, I guess.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's a good term for it. And she tries to hide, but she does the so predictable steps on a twig.
Yeah. Just as they were about to mac on each other.
Oh yeah. No. Anyway, so it was like, gasp! You and you, and it's like, you promise you won't tell? And she was like, yeah, I won't tell. And then Granny Smith and Grandpa show up.
Oh, Granny Smith shows up, and then
Grandpa shows up.
Does he?
I think he does.
No, I think it's just Granny.
No,
because you remember she.
Oh yeah, she puts Bright Mac in a headlock.
No, she bites his ear and pulls and drags him away. She grabs the ear, She does the.
Well, I can't tell.
Come on, young, come here.
Well, I can't tell. I'm freaking blind.
Not before she says something about like oh yeah, no, we don't fraternize with a pear.
Yeah. Then she does the pony spit. That was great. That was so country.
And then bites Bright Mac's ear and drags him off.
Dude, if I want to see a parent do that now, like a real human parent, get mad at their kids, spit on the ground, bite their ear,
Mike Tyson them,
like drag them away. That would make my job so much better on the sales floor if one of those little bastards was misbehaving and their parent did that and just dragged them out of the store by their teeth.
with their teeth by
with their teeth by the ear. That'd be great. But despite having his ear nearly torn off, he still,
he still looks back and gives her a smile and a. Did he wink or a nod? Like either a wink or a nod.
I heard I hear this sounds crazy, but I heard a wink because you hear the ding.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming wink. But
and so that's when
Chiffon was like, "You and you."
I never would have guessed. And then it goes, and then you hear Kurt and Mrs. Cake's voice explain that she. Okay, so we're going into what's it called? Storyception, where Mrs. Cake is telling a story about their parents, or their mother telling a story to her about how a romantic evening that they had.
Bwah! Bwah! Okay.
And so they're having a little picnic on a hill. How does it? They're just
chilling on the hill. They really are.
Yeah.
She says, "I got us."
No. He's like, he gives her
happy 1,247th hour anniversary, some crazy ass number down to the hour.
Yeah, and he puts a buttercup in her mane or ears,
and it makes her glow.
I don't think so, but it's like here's
that was just the joke.
Yeah. Here's the flower that we met in, like the
This is the flower that started it all.
Yeah.
Not little, that one's probably dead and gone, but here's a flower.
And she's like, "Oh, we haven't known each other that long."
This is for the first time I called you Buttercup,
and you're like, "Oh."
Oh yeah, I was like, "Oh, dude."
The moves on this one, they're strong.
They are. But the first time I watched this by myself, I literally grabbed my chest like, "Oh, dude, the feels. Oh shit."
And so then he pulls the
no,
like,
she
huh?
Doesn't she pull the guitar?
Well, no. He's like all like, it's that anniversary. And he's like I understand if you didn't get me anything, and
I understand you didn't get me nothing.
And so being not being outdone, she pulls out a guitar and says, "Actually, I did."
And him being a dude, I can't play this.
And she
takes it back, and we get to not only hear a great song, but me being just weird, trying to figure out how the hell you play guitar with who's. I'm watching her who's move on the guitar, and I am mesmerized by this.
I told you, it was the power of love.
What is this, fucking Sailor Moon?
No, it's My Little Pony. They've done it before. They defeated a swarm of love-stealing monsters with the power of love.
Apparently not all of them, or it is a whole swarm minus one, which was a good guy, which we'll talk about Thorax some other time. But Oh,
Oh.
oh shit. Now I am thinking of Pony Anthology because they did the Sailor Moon Power of Love thing there. But she does this song, like, what was it called?
It's called "You're in, you're in my head like a catchy song."
And it is a great song. I love that song. And every now and then I'll get, often I'll get MLP songs that are remixed and redubbed and dubstepped and whatnot. I don't want this song done any of those things. I want to get this song just as is and put it on my MP3 player because it's just so nice.
And thus we reach part 1 of my my trilogy of feels for this episode. This song,
This was it for me too.
I loved it.
This is definitely Liquid Pride. Almost. I had something in my throat because you're caught up in this love story and it's great, but the problem is in the back of your mind, they're both dead right now because everything they've been saying in this whole fucking show has implied that they're dead. So it really does give it quite an elegant, tragic romance. But before I go any deeper into that, he's like blown away by the song, but at the same time he's like, man, this ruins everything. Because I had this whole thing planned out for you, and he takes her down this hill and does this. God, I can't remember this gimmick that he did.
Huh?
The rock gimmick.
Oh, the A plus B in the heart.
Yes.
With their cutie marks and not their initials. They like how when like they have, I don't think this is still a thing, but like people used to carve the initials of the person they like with their initial plus their initials inside a heart shape on a tree.
In the Scouts, I saw it all the time hiking on trails. Now it's just done through Facebook and posts.
But he did it. He went a step further, and he didn't carve it into a tree. He chiseled it into a giant rock.
That is hardcore, yo. That
remember that rock.
Heck yeah.
It's kind of important. Well, a little bit.
It's a rock that Rainbow Dash splits with her Sonic Rain Boom to give Rarity her gems.
No, I don't think so. It wasn't on a cliff.
No, it wasn't. But so that was really sweet.
Oh,
go ahead.
The end of the song, where like I love how like because they had never said "I love you" until that moment, and she kind of did it accidentally, but she meant it though.
Mm-hmm. So sweet.
That's one of the parts where I love about the song, where like she says it and then she starts blushing and like kind of does the shock, like, oops, I didn't mean to say that out loud.
But you did, and you can't take it back. I mean, no take backs.
And she wouldn't want to anyway.
Exactly. This episode, damn, this was so good. But then things get crazy.
It's still Mrs. Cake telling the story.
Yeah, it is, because then Mrs. Cake is like, "Oh yeah, I got a bombshell for you. The pears are moving to Canada." Gas. Well, actually,
who could have seen this coming?
I know, right? Well, first of all, wasn't it Mrs. Cake in the memory gasps, and then no, it wasn't Mrs. Cake in the memory. It was Pear Blossom who gasps. Then it's
and then it's the
Apple
siblings.
Bloom, Applejack, and Big Mac.
And then Applejack's like, well, I kind of figured, but
yeah. But then Mrs. Cake is like, we need one more pony to finish the story, and that takes them to Town Hall and Mayor, because Bright Mac has a Bright Mac plan.
And he needs the help of someone who can legally wed them.
Yes.
I do like how they're like, yeah, I didn't really. Mayor's like, yeah, I didn't really know them personally. Like, I just did this one thing for them, but
they seem
nice. You kind of need to know it, so it's a pretty important part.
Yeah,
of the
it's a
story.
pretty important part. But her tone was like, and they seemed nice. so he takes her into the. It's pretty much on the property line, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's in their little
their picnic spot.
Yeah. Where the
rock is.
Yeah. And what was I gonna say? Darn it, I forgot.
Excuse me again. Sorry guys, I'm just really tired. It's been a long day. So he takes her there, and he's like,
They show a scene before where she's like apologizing to Bright Mac, or Peach Blossom's apologizing to
Pear Blossom.
Pear Blossom.
They don't do no peaches around here.
I keep stumbling over that her name.
Just because we live in the peach state doesn't mean you have to give a flying crap about peaches.
Oh yeah, we do. And Burning Oak does say she was quite a peach of a pear.
Ah!
So I think that's also slipping me up.
Peach of a pear?
Yeah.
She was a peach of a pear of an apple, apparently.
Yes. But yeah,
suddenly I'm craving fruit.
And she apologizes to Bright Mac, saying like, "I'm sorry, I can't leave my family."
So he has an idea of such idea-ness that it's an idea that's an idea.
A bright idea, you might say. But yeah. So with the help of
Mayor,
Mrs.
of Mrs. Mayor Cake,
and Burn Oak, he sets up a little
private wedding because Pear Blossom is shy.
Is she?
Yeah.
I don't think she is.
Well, she wouldn't want a big to-do, is what they said.
Well, yeah, I think they just didn't. She didn't want it to be like huge and super fancy, and just something simple. I think is what they
yeah, like some other pony they know.
Big Macintosh.
Yep. I think you, when it comes to voice acting, I think you do a better. Yep.
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 Nope.
You two should be ashamed of yourselves, humiliating your sister and me like that. But anyway, so he gets her, for lack of a better, I guess you could say it's an altar, right?
It's
the metaphorical altar. I mean.
Yeah.
He gets her to the metaphorical altar, and
he takes her. He shows her that. He shows her it, and he says something along the lines of like I don't know about our this feud between our family, but I there is one thing, or you moving, or something like I can't remember. He says
basically, I don't know about you moving, but there is one thing I do know, that is I can't be without you.
I do know that I would marry you right now. Like I love you enough that I would marry you right now. And she agrees. And
just as Mary is about to officiate over the whole thing is when their parents show up. And so basically kind of Grandpa throws down the
no, not yet.
Not yet?
No. They're like come on, like
you're moving.
Yeah, you need to be getting ready to move. And Granny Smith is like, what are you doing here with pears? And that's when Bright Mac's like, yeah, we're kind of in love here, like we're in the
middle of a thing.
Yeah, we're kind of getting married here.
We're in the middle of a thing right now.
We love each other. We don't care about your little feud.
Oh, by the way, Mayor, could you finish this up?
Yeah, yeah, because my brother noted that he was like, what are you waiting for, Mayor? Finish it. And so,
finish them.
You were, and I pronounce you husband and wife.
Oh yeah.
And so
by the promise of me, I pronounce you husband and wife.
And so it becomes official.
Just like that.
But
that's when Grandpa kind of throws down the gauntlet of challenge here, like
the ultimatum.
Yeah, the ultimatum. Like, are you choosing between your families and the apples? And she's like, the apples are my family. You? Well,
they're my family too.
And then she says, "Are you making me choose between them?"
No. He's like, are you saying you choose an apple over your family?
He says, "Are you making me choose?" Which was really good, by the way. Good dialogue. I know I'm butchering it to hell and back.
And yeah, and that was Feels moment number 2 for me.
Definitely for me too. That was definitely another moment where I had a lump in my throat. I was like, oh, come on, man. Don't do that. And then, what did he say? Or Grandpa? It's like, yes, I am. Like,
she's like, oh, are you really gonna make me choose? And he's like, yes, I am.
Oh, and right there, I hate to stop you, but Granny Smith during all this, you could see her face better than I could. So.
Yeah, she's kind of a little bit back, and like she's shocked like
whoa, dude.
no, she's surprised when pear
Hair blossom.
a pear blossom says like, oh, they're my family too now, and that's what, like, you can see Granny Smith like surprised. She's like, oh, like,
This is very mature of her.
well, I don't think maturity is. It's more like, well, I guess technically you're right now, like.
Yeah, you can't. And apples are all about the family.
And so, and then she also like gets upset after the next part where grandpa says like pretty much like, fine, stay here then,
And leaves her.
and leaves her.
That made me so sad. That was definitely an almost liquid pride moment for me.
And so and then leaving her crying with Bright Mac and Granny Smith comforting her.
Oh man, that was. Oh, and you pointed out something. It happened at the beginning of the episode, but I feel like now is a really good time to point it out. Just how grandpa must feel, you know?
Yeah, because you remember, because he obviously at that point he knows who his grandchildren are, and so
At least Applejack by now.
So you can imagine seeing a little Philly. Well, not so little now, but
Well, she's still little.
Apple Bloom coming up, and like he's like
Clearly resembling his daughter in some way.
Yeah, like because he actually because you pointed it out. Apple Bloom is the same color scheme as Bright Mac. Like exactly the red mane and tail and the yellow.
And she's got little
fur.
doohickeys in her hair. They're not the things that Pear Blossom had, but it's
like curved bangs.
Yeah, but it's definitely something in her mane which kind of fits, what Pear Blossom was going for.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring that up now because now it seems a little more relevant to bring it up.
Yeah. And so.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
All right. So you get to that scene, and then the flashback ends.
Finally, and Mrs. Cake just appears out of nowhere, as I pointed out.
Yeah. But flashback ended.
So now we're no longer
having to do flashbacks or Inception flashbacks. So they the three siblings. I'm just gonna say.
So now, I've been saying the Apple siblings this whole time.
The Applings.
The Apple siblings.
The Applings.
Applings. That's my teacher's name.
Applings.
Appling.
Nice. So the Applings go to grandpa.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Well, yeah, they do. That's immediately after.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But before that, they come to understand why everyone's been keeping it a secret from them this whole time.
Yeah, it's kind of heavy.
It's kind of messed up. That he pretty much
he made the whole family abandon their daughter.
Yeah.
And he never saw her again because she died. She's gone. They're both gone. So this is for a kid show right here. This is really some heavy stuff.
Well, looking into the context, most kids aren't going to look into that context. They're going to be like, oh.
No, but I mean.
But yeah, it's still there.
As reviewers.
Yeah.
And just we watched a review earlier today with Firebrand, Silver Quill, and Dr. Wolf, and they go, if this is something that your adults can enjoy too, and for an adult to watch this and see this, that's some heavy stuff for a kids show.
Oh yeah.
But go ahead.
And this is something that I love it when cartoons do. What cartoons or any kind of animation does is when they don't treat the kids that are watching it like children.
Which is great irony. A kid show doesn't treat you like kids.
When it gives them a monicum of respect and like you probably understand this.
Yeah, you'll get this.
And if you don't, you like.
It's like the wink, the proverbial wink for an obvious situation.
Yeah. Like
when Bright Mac winked at Pear Blossom, saying everything was cool, even though he was being dragged away by his friggin' ear. The show kind of gives you a wink, like they're dead, but everything was cool with them. They loved each other. They loved their kids. But one thing that kind of bugs me though, Big Mac is the oldest of the three, but he still has trouble remembering them. And Applejack should remember them. Apple Bloom was the only one I can really believe probably doesn't remember them that well.
And is the most curious about them.
Yeah. That part is believable, but the other two should know some stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe their parents didn't talk about it.
Probably not, because you remember they even Golden Delicious never even mentioned it, that no one ever called her by her real name.
That's right. They all called her Buttercup.
Yeah, everyone called her Buttercup. They never referred to her as her real name. I'm thinking because
because her cutie mark wasn't specifically pear themed. Well, it was a preserve jar with something inside it.
Yeah, with just, I guess jam or something.
Yeah, could have been.
It could have been apple jam or something, anything. So, and well, I was gonna say, like, maybe the Apple family didn't say anything, like call her real name or anything, is so that
other apples wouldn't.
No. I don't think that's a problem.
Okay.
I think what they did it so as to not make her think of her dad, and like.
Yeah, they were protecting her.
Yeah.
I just dropped my phone. That's all right. But yeah, that is a valid point though. But still, I just have a hard time thinking that Apple. It just feels like that in some ways that Applejack and Big Mac should remember their parents a little more vividly than.
Well, I think they remember them. They just didn't know much about them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, I guess. But
so like it would be like you knowing how your parents met at the age of
whatever,
like 3 or 4.
Actually, I do know how my parents met.
Yeah, but when did you learn about it?
Good point.
Like what, 12, 11 maybe?
16 or 17. It's hard to tell.
There you go. That could explain why they didn't. That could explain why them finding this out now is possible. It's plausible.
Yeah, but the fun part is, though, just real quick nod to my parents who will never hear this. I got to eat at the diner where they had their first date all their years ago when I lived in New York.
Yeah, see, that would be something that they would put in an episode.
Yeah, that was good food, by the way. Yeah, stuff like that. But anyway, on to the episode itself. They meet with a grandparent after all this.
And I just thought of something about that.
Go for it.
I think he was, he came back to town, hoping to get back together with them, but obviously, he, like they said, like they point out when they find him, like, oh, hey, I'm Applejack and this is Big Mac, and they don't need to introduce.
I already know Apple Bloom.
Yeah, he already met Apple Bloom, and and they said, like, you probably already know who we are. So, and he did. He didn't deny that, like, oh no, like, I don't know, but so he obviously knew who they were already, and he came to town hoping to get back to retie.
Get things right.
Yeah, but he obviously didn't do anything with Apple Bloom, so that means he still hasn't forgiven himself at that moment.
Yeah, that's true. That is a very good point. That is a.
So like he would probably, who knows how long it would have taken him to muster up the courage to
approach the subject,
to approach them.
Yeah, I mean, this episode is just so good. This is a thorough episode. So they talk to him, and there's some good dialogue there. I'm not gonna try and rehash that all off the top of my head, but basically it comes down to, can I come back into your lives and can we put things right? And they're like, we want you in our lives. So then they head back to the apple farm.
They get into a little group hug, and Apple Bloom asks him, "Can I call you Grandpa Pear?"
That was great.
And so yeah, that's when they go back to the apple farm to find Granny Smith,
who's been wondering where in the tarnation they've been all day.
Because it's taken them the whole day.
Yeah, they've been around. Yeah, like, apparently without Pinkie Pie causing hijinks and crashes and everything, getting to Goldie's house wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So, damn it, Pinkie Pie.
Either that or they went really early.
Oh, yeah. Road trip. Erner, you and I got to do a road trip sometime. We'd have fun. But, so they get back and she's like, where you guys been all day? And Applejack's like, well, we've been out learning about our parents. And Granny Smith is like, ooh, you've been learning about that, huh? Well, this is awkward. And she more or less says, I didn't know how to tell you guys.
You know what I'm thinking about now?
Your face?
No. Hey Arnold.
Oh snap! I haven't been shown forever.
You remember that his grandpa, he told them stories about them?
Yeah.
But then eventually he had to make up stories because he kept asking him questions about them.
Yeah.
I'm getting a vibe like that. now, except she didn't tell him anything.
Yeah, like
But
it's kind of like the
but I'm-
reverse of that. Instead
yeah,
of
but I'm getting,
building them bigger than life, code of silence.
but I'm feeling like they had similar feelings,
I agree.
like Granny Smith and Grandpa.
That was, God, I missed that show.
But yeah, so yeah, they finally come face to face again, Grandpa and Granny Smith, and they do manage to
Work things out.
work things, yeah, to yeah, like he's just like, so you can tell that he's so upset of what he did, and like he really does want to.
The guilt.
Yeah, because another thing that I think kind of points at their dad is, why wouldn't he go to them first?
Yeah, that is a good point. Why wouldn't he go to them?
Why would he come to Ponyville first with the grandchildren rather than the parents first?
Yeah, that is a good point. And then the whole kind of, I hate using this term, but there's no other way to put it. The whole kind of nail in the coffin to kind of solidify the fact that their parents are dead is the terminology they use when they go to this final scene. They go, "There's this place where we can remember them by."
Yeah.
And
So we're going straight to that then.
yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Oh, we didn't even mention it during the scene.
What scene?
The wedding scene.
Shit, you're right. But
I had said to remember the rock because that's pretty much the little, I guess, altar of their little makeshift wedding.
altar of love for their wedding.
Yeah, it was because that's where the rock was in the middle of their between their properties, and that's where the wedding was held, and their ceremony. All they did was they dug a hole. They each had a seed.
An apple seed and a pear seed.
They each dug a hole, threw it in the other's hole, and then buried both seeds right next to each other. And after many years, those two trees grew
And intertwined.
And
it was so sweet.
And
That was the part where I got liquid pride.
and that's yes, and that was my third liquid pride feel moment.
Yeah, that was just like, I was like, oh, dude.
The amazed looks on Granny Smith and Grandpa's like Granny's like, I think she's like, how is this possible? Or no. Grandpa was like, this shouldn't be possible, and Granny Smith's like, oh my word, or something like that. They're both super surprised.
Yeah, they are.
And then they show it, and the pear tree and the apple tree intertwine and making a little heart with the negative space in the middle.
Yeah, that was, and then it goes to credits, and they're playing.
Well, no, wait.
Go ahead.
Applejack says one thing before that.
Yeah.
Where like if there's one thing that will survive is apples and pears.
Yeah.
And you see them all kind of huddled together, sitting in front of the tree, with the sun glowing through the leaves.
Right now, it's just giving me the feels. But then it goes to the credits, and the credits themselves are nothing special. But the music.
Well, yeah, it's not the instrumental My Little Pony theme. It's instrumental version of in my head like a catchy song.
Yeah, so that just really just, if your feels were starting to go down,
this definitely would have
kept it going again.
This definitely would have unleashed the flood.
I hope we can put some kind of music in over this. If you can find that song and just loop it, and then we'll put in the disclaimer and all that.
Kind of risky, but I'll try.
Yeah, look, hey, Dr. Wolf does it. But, a lot of people do it, so, we're not the first. But overall,
our channel is small enough to I think we might be able to get away with it.
Yeah.
But
it's not. There's no real pleasure in a YouTube lawyer making a public example out of us. Pen and who now? But
but yeah, this episode was so freaking good.
Yes. So overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, Ruiner.
Over 9,000.
Yeah, I agree. Over 9,000.
I give it an apple out of pear.
This episode for me is up there. It's up there with Slice of Life, Ponyville Confidential.
No.
It's up.
This
It's
is
above them all.
This is beyond for me. This is beyond
The
those.
only one that really comes close is Fault in Our Cutie Marks. It's got that same kind of feel. And actually, that and what's that other one called?
What's it about?
The one where Scoots is trying to make a really good show for the Equestrian Games. Flight to the Finish. For me, it's up there. It's up there with Flight to the Finish for a totally different reason. Mostly just the whole disability thing that I have, that I share with Scoots. That's why I like that character so much, and that's another reason why Fault in Our Cutie Mark is a great Scoots episode for the same reason. Because Scoots says, "I want to help Gabby try and get something that I know I may never get." This is up there with that same kind of emotional tone for me, because this is something and I hate saying this, but I'm sure there are kids out there who have lost their parents like this, with all the unpleasant things that go on in this world, with the wars that are overseas and just the unfairness of life. This episode probably hits a lot of adults and children in a very special way, and it does that kind of lost feeling service. It's such a good episode. Right up there, definitely in my top 10. This is number 1 for me now.
At the very least, for this season, it is number 1.
Yes, number 2 being was it Royal Problem, or what was that one called? The Celestia Luna episode.
Yeah, I think it's a royal problem, or
Royal
Trouble, or Royal Pains.
Yeah, something like that. That's because that episode had Daybreaker. That was cool. But we'll talk about that another time.
For me, for number 2, it's either that one or the Mod Pie one.
Oh no! The Mod Pie is the number 2. Oh, Mod.
Oh no! Yes, Mod Pie is number 2.
Oh, Mod.
Who hurt you?
Other than Rocks.
Rocks don't know. Rocks do not hurt her.
they don't exclude her.
Yes.
Yeah, this wasn't. That episode was one of those moments where I heard Werner go, "Oh, Mod." That I guess he got the same kind of feels he did from this episode.
No. That it doesn't come. In some video games, you start off with the difficulties like easy, very easy, normal, hard, very hard, and then you find out if you beat it on very hard, you unlock like super hard or something.
Yeah.
Well, in some games, after beating it on that, you unlock the nightmare mode, and like now just imagine that with like how good it is. They unlocked a new tier for me.
They really did. This set a bar that. And I'm scared to say this, but it's true. They might not be able to make another episode to this level.
No, I'm sure they can. And I can't wait for them.
I agree. I know this sounds dumb, but I want an episode where Applejack and Rarity are shipped just because for the controversy. I want to see people pissed off. But I'm a mean person like that.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes. You never had that joke?
What?
Me and a buddy of mine said we want to see an episode where Applejack and Rarity are shipped just for the controversy it caused. That will be the downfall of the show.
Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that Applejack belongs to Rainbow Dash.
No way. Applejack and Rarity.
Well, actually, Rainbow Dash belongs to Applejack. But...
Oh, no. I've heard too many fanfics that ship Rarity and Applejack. Most of them, now that I think about it, most of them done by the lost narrator. But that's beside the point. But no, there's just a lot of good episodes. I want to see an episode that fixes the Lyra and Bonbon crap. I hated that. Mm-hmm. No, that was the weak link of the story.
But yeah,
the best way to fix that, get rid of Bonbon.
Yes. But I'm really glad that they got a romance kind of episode.
I am too.
I had just like a month or two ago, I had finished a romance anime, Toradora. If anyone's ever seen it, it's probably. It has taken the top 5 spots in my list of favorite animes, and
I don't have many animes that I consider a romance anime, but if I had to have my number 1 romance anime, it would
be Shinji and his hand.
oh, that's good. No, but it would be Samurai X Trust and Betrayal. Have you seen that?
No.
It's the prequel to Rurouni Kenshin, and It's a tragic love story. It's great. But
And so
the voice, the American voice acting is crap. I hate it. I hate it almost as much as I hate the American voice acting for High School of the Dead.
But as I was saying, I just finished. I had finished that a month or two ago.
Toradora.
Toradora. And I had been looking for. You know how when you finish watching something, you want to fill the void with something else
that fits that vibe.
Yeah.
And this episode was it for you?
And this episode kind of, I was looking for. Oh, something sounds weird. Okay. Something was sounding weird for a second.
Oh crap! I left the AC on this whole time.
That's fine. I've been able to hear us through the whole time.
Yeah, just edit that part out.
Yeah. Are you turning away from your mic?
Just now trying to crack my neck.
Okay, that's why. That's what I was hearing.
Oh, sorry. Just my neck was stiff.
But yeah, like
Toradora,
it was like having a. Oh man, what are you doing?
I'm not doing anything.
It sounds weird.
I'm sitting right here.
Okay.
Jesus, dude.
Well, it just there's moments where it sounds really weird.
I leaned back a little. How about when I lean back like that? Is that why?
I don't think so. I think it's when you completely turn away from the mic.
Like this?
Yeah.
Sorry, but anyway, I get what you're saying. Like, when I see a good action movie or a good action or play a good action game, I do want something else to fill that vibe. There are very few things like video games, cartoons, or whatnot that give you a liquid pride feeling.
Yeah. And so, I would definitely have to give this. I would definitely have to recommend this episode to anyone.
Even if you're not a brony, watch this episode.
I don't know.
If you can, look, I feel like
the
opinion is skewed if you're trying to say, oh, someone who's not with the fandom might not like this. I mean,
I'm not saying that they wouldn't like this in particular.
Look, if you tell someone to put aside the fact that you don't know much about these characters as a whole, just enjoy the story for what it is, I still think they'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I think you would still need to explain. Yeah, they don't know much about their parents.
Yeah, so, but I mean, even if you didn't say that, it's pretty well addressed in the overall episode itself. Is that a lot of what their parents went through is kind of a mystery.
Yep.
So yeah, but yeah, this episode, it choked me up, and there are a few other things that have choked me up, and I'm going to regret saying this because someone is going to bust my balls for it. I know someone will. But Ace Combat 5, the video game, is the only time where I was pushed to liquid pride. Because one of the characters on my team died, and they gave him such an awesome yet sad death. I had liquid pride in my eyes as I'm trying to fly a fighter jet and blow up jets. But it's all just comes to a matter of storytelling. If, a game or a cartoon can look pretty, but if there's no substance to it, then it's not that pretty, is it? I mean, isn't My Little Pony basically made in Flash?
Yes.
And yet, it's so much bigger than that because of the story that's put into it, especially this one.
It was that video you just showed me where they quoted something from Disney.
Yeah, Walt Disney said, "If you aim for kids, you're dead. Adults are kids who are just growing up anyway."
Yeah, and that's how I felt. That's how I've always felt. And
what about My Little Pony or in general?
In general,
I agree. But man, what an episode!
Adults are just kids with more responsibilities.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't stop them from still being kids once in a while.
This episode was good.
So good. And I want plushies of their parents.
I want plushies of their parents with that scarf from the winter scene during the song.
Yes, definitely that.
I would definitely put them together with the scarf.
And an apple bloom.
Which has inspired me to make a drawing.
Are you going to draw them?
No, not them. But
you should though.
No. Well, maybe. Maybe it won't. It probably won't be that specific scene. But
no, I'm just saying you should draw them in whatever context you like.
Oh yeah, and they kissed. We didn't mention that they kissed. They actually locked lips during the wedding scene.
And they kissed at it. They sealed the deal. It was so good. This episode just had so many great moments. It's hard to say them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, you could say over and over that this episode is great, but that doesn't even seem to do that justice.
Pause for a second. It's getting late, so let's wrap this up.
All right. But yeah, so we'll check out this episode. Well, I know I'll check out this episode again and again and again.
I'll definitely check out the song again and again and again.
I'm gonna do both because it's a great episode. But I guess that's all for now. We've got some other episodes to review. We'll do that at another time. Offend us, Iris.
We're definitely gonna do the Mod Pie one.
Oh, the Mod Pie. Oh, and the other episode that got leaked. Ruiner, I'm sure, would like to say a few things about that one. It's got your favorite pony in it.
I know, and even with my bias, I still love this one more.
Well, I know that, but we're going to put this episode in the vault and just talk about that episode because it is your favorite pony.
Favorite pony.
But for now, offend us, Iris.
Best episode ever.
Yes.
So good.